Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Patricia Stuart of Patricia Stuart Originals. Today, I'm going to try something. I have here just an abstract drawing that I did with some graphite, and I have it on I always forget the name of this paper. It's cardstock. And I want to create a design by transferring this onto the gel plate. And so I've seen it done before, but I wanted to test it out for myself to see how well does this transfer onto a gel plate. Now you cannot use the graphite directly onto the gel plate, but if you do it on paper, it could be any kind of paper, computer paper, cardstock, and it worked. It transferred really well. And you can see that. Okay. And so my thought is I'm using my 8x10 gel plate. My Brayers. And I'm going to put some paint, different color paints. Try to create a abstract type of art. Of course, brayering off on my Brayer roll-off book. So I'm going to start with some Liquitex Basics Orange. And I don't want to use a lot of paint, just I'll put a little in this corner here, maybe a little here. And a little lime green, which is one of my favorite colors. And I have the smaller brayer here. I think this is 4-inch. It's one of the black rubber brayers that's really not so great with acrylic because it's hard to get it off. I usually have to soak it in acetone to get it off. It's better to use the soft rubber brayer for this, because you can let the paint build up on the soft brayer for as long as you want and then peel it off quite easily. These black rubber, hard rubber brayers are basically for printmaking inks. They work well with that. Okay. And so I have my colors on, and I'm using some print making paper. One of the things, I don't use the Liquitex Basics too often, but what I do like about them is they're kind of translucent, and for something like this, where it's thinner, I like that. Okay, and here's the finish. Some sketchy areas, but that's okay. So it transfers well. So I want to see how you see what's left. You can still clearly see that the print is still left on the plate. So I'm going to go in and see what of a ghost print can I do with this. So I add a little blue thinly where I could spread it out. With the Liquitex, if you use little, you can spread it out where it's thinner and it will appear more translucent. Where you can see through it. Now this blue is coming out a lot stronger than the other colors, so I probably used a little bit too much. So I can take some of it off. Yeah. Okay, so it has a little red in it. And let's see if I can get a ghost print out of this. So it's an interesting thing you might want to try is with the graphite chalk. The graphite pencil is a little bit more refined, so I'm not sure how that would pick up. But definitely the graphite chalk works well on paper. You can even have a diagram, like a coloring book sketch type thing that you can trace onto paper with the graphite and transfer it to the plate. And so here's the ghost print where it did pick up parts of it that picked up. Now what I want to do, I started with this and I'm going to lay it back down and see if I can get a second print to transfer, that's strong enough to transfer onto the plate again. And it does. You see it transferred again, the darker one. Okay, and so I'm going to pick that up using, this is pink, soft portrait pink. Just going to use this one color. See if it picked up clearly. I might even get some of what was on the plate already to pick up. Once again, this is just something I'm trying out, experimenting with. So it picked up the last top one. The ones underneath are too faint after 2 pulls. So it picked up the graphite, the one that I had just did. Okay, now one thing, you cannot just wipe this off with a baby wipe or water. You have to use mineral oil or baby oil, and then the graphite comes right up, but it won't come up off the plate unless you, with just water. Okay, but you can still pull on top of this without a problem. Let me see if I can get another pull out of this, and I'm just going to use, this is titanium unbleached, it says. And I like to use this more sparingly where it's a thinner layer on the gel plate. Let's see if we can get a ghost print. So that's another option, graphite, to getting some marks. And you can cut up your papers for collage or use in board books or whatever you want. But if you don't have stencils, this is a great way to still get some mark making and some marks. Okay. And so here we have those marks, which are pretty nice. You can come back on top of these with some additional mark making. To create something else. This is the first one we did. So these first 2, I'm going to come back now and add some graphite to these 2. And these I like as is because I would do some mark making on top. Okay. And so using the same one, I'm going to take the graphite chalk and I'm going to do some other marks on it to cover what's already there. It's like a scribbling effect. So this is like chalk, but it also gets your hands a bit soiled. But a wet wipe will easily remove that. And so let's transfer this onto the plate. And so this is just to demonstrate for you the graphite, and there we go. And you can get at least 2 good pulls from the transfer. And so I'm going to take some crimson red. And the other thing is there's nothing to dry because it doesn't come up. You can put your paint down right away. And this adds a nice background or painted papers for you. Earlier, my cat got on top of my print with her paw prints, and now we have paw prints all over the radiators, tracking through the house because I turned my back for 1 minute. And she was on top with her paws on the paper. Okay. And there's what you get with that. So I find it's very interesting. I like the fact that I could transfer, not just paint markers will work, Posca pens and Sharpie markers, but the graphite pencil or the graphite chalk works well. Okay, so let me go back in, and I have a lot going here, so I should be able to pull another pull, but I want to get some other marks on top of this because I have some blotchiness here. And so I think I will go in with using some matte medium. I don't necessarily want to add more color, but maybe a little matte medium will do. And let's see what we pull up using the matte medium. Now, if you use the matte medium alone on top of your transfer without paint, so you'll get the exact transfer, but it will be clear, transparent. That might be nice to use that way with deli paper. Did I get any more marks to come up? Not so much, so I will have to use I will try laying this down again. See if I can transfer a little bit more marks and try this again. Okay, so it came again. So here we go with the matte medium again. And maybe this time I need a little bit more. I don't like to use too much because then the paper moves around on it too much. Too much of the matte medium. need a thin layer. Okay, so let's lay this down again. See what we get. And we did get more to cover up the areas that just had paint from before. So it's a pretty cool process. Let me try to use it again and do some different type of mark making here. Let's see what we get. Let's now transfer. If you want your plate to be clean in between each transfer, or after you pull a ghost print, you will have to clean it off with mineral oil or baby oil. And then you would have to rinse that off, put a little soap and wash the plate, dry it, and then start again. You'll have all of that to do in between, but it depends on the marks you want to put down. And so those marks are there, so I'm going to take the second one we did, and I'm going to use matte medium again. And see what that looks like. And I've only used the cardstock once with all my marks. Each time that if you use the same one, you have marks in the background. And that can be pretty cool. And so here we have the marks on top of this. Now this may look, oh, it's a bit crazy, a bit grungy, a lot of lines, but then you could use your mark making tools, Posca pens, your fine markers, your thick markers, or you can come back with a fine paintbrush and you can embellish on this. Or it serves as nice pieces for collage. And so we have this one. Just gives you an idea of what types of marks you can expect with the graphite chalk. And all of these can be embellished upon and developed into something else. And as I said, when you use a little mineral oil like I have here, and let's see, you could use something dry, or I'll use a wet wipe here, and you rub it in with the oil. It begins to clean the plate. And I have a lot of buildup on here. But it's basically what will clean the plate for you. and it comes off. So no fear, there will be no damage to your plate. And I'm only rubbing with pressure because I have a buildup of quite a bit on the plate. But you see that it comes off, as well as the paint. So that might be something that you may want to try. With the graphite. Add something a little different to your gel plate experience. And I'm going to embellish on these papers that I just pulled and come back and show you what they morphed into. See you in a few. Hi. Okay, I'm done. So I wanted to show you more thoroughly what I did with the prints that were done with the, not the charcoal. My mind is drawing a blank. What was done earlier, where you can see the marks in the background of the graphite chalk. I love what happens in the background. So I took these and embellished upon it. Like I said, you could use them when you work on them with the graphite. You can use them to cut up or whatever for collage papers or for whatever you want to use them for. So I did some mark making. Because mark making can make the difference. You can have a grungy print like this was and change its appearance, make it more appealing if you didn't like it originally. And this one, some more mark making, but I just love the effect of the graphite hidden in the background. It's behind and you can see it. This one with some more mark making. Added some circles on top with my micron pen. And the same with this, using a Posca pen. I added some more mark making on top, and you see the background with the graphite. And I really like how that sits behind. And that could be used to transfer onto a painting or any background with marks that you want to make. So I'm going to continue to experiment with that and see what happens. Now, on another tip, over the years of doing, well, probably for the past, since COVID, I really focused a lot on the gel plate and prints. And so I ended up collecting so many. And I'm a stickler for, we need to do something with the prints. Just can't let them pile up and then do nothing with them. And so I like to turn them into pieces of art, whether I use them as part of a background on my canvas before I paint the subject, or I put them together on board books or accordion books or whatever, or I use them in cards. So I used up a lot of what I had And here are some pieces that I had that I really like. And so I decided to organize them in this book, because in the drawer I'm fishing, I can't really see what I have, and it ends up, at the end of the day, you end up making more prints when you had at the bottom of the drawer or somewhere else in a folder stuff that you can't find. And what I like about this is that this unzips, and here are the prints inside. And it's a 3-subject binder that I got at Amazon, and it zips up. See where it zips? Very neat with a handle. So if I'm at the airport and I decide, you know, I want to do some collage work, and I have my glue stick with me and my little book that I collage print, then I could carry this folder with me. It's pretty easy. And I kind of organize them according to similar colors or shades. One is organized just with papers that I have writing on or print numbers. And so these are the ones that I decide that I can use. There were a few that I tossed and threw away because I definitely was not going to use them. But I kept my better prints that I know that I will be using. So the zip bags are sold separately. You get 20, and I bought the binder separately. But it's worth it to organize my stuff, and I probably will get a few more pockets, another set of 20, and I got the clear one. This is the clear. They have them in colors, but I need to see through what I have, you know, so that when I go to open it, I directly know what I have, and I prefer to be able to see through them. And so these will be added to the stash as well till I decide what I'm going to do with them. So I hope that you will try the graphite thing that we did today. It's fun. Transfer whatever you desire to transfer onto your gel plate. You could just use the graphite on paper, write a bunch of numbers or shapes, or trace something that you already have, silhouette, whatever it is. But I love the fact that behind it you can see the marks that it makes. It's just something else to add to your mark making collection. Thanks for joining me today. Keep doing art. Till next time.